what, Floyd, here's a real offer. And I'm the guy. I'm the guy that can actually make the offer, and I'm actually making a real offer. We'll pay you $25 million. We'll pay Conor $25 million, and then we'll talk about pay-per-view at a certain number. There's a real offer, okay?
Right, Jace, is Dana White's offer fair?
No, I don't think it is. And Dana White, who guy I respect and respect what he's done, he's talking like he's the only guy. I can make a real offer. Floyd Mayweather's a promoter as well now, too, and he owns his brand and owns the whole Floyd. Floyd can make an offer. Floyd wants to be paid $100 million. I think he should be paid 2 to 3 to 4 times more than Conor McGregor. I don't think Floyd Mayweather should be getting the same amount of money as Conor McGregor. Floyd Mayweather is the king of boxing, a sport with a 150-year history. Whether you like him or not, I'm not a big Floyd fan. 49-0, he's made $1 billion damn near in boxing. He's dominated a sport that actually matters and has a real history. I'm not taking a knock on the UFC, but in comparison to boxing, it's in its infancy. Well, and the king stay the king, and Floyd's the king.
Yeah, well, you know who else has a 50, 75-year history? J.C. Penney, Sears, the rotary phone. You know who doesn't? Apple. McGregor's the it guy. McGregor's pay-per-view numbers were 3.5 times Floyd's pay-per-view. I love boxing. I grew up in Las Vegas. I was at Sugar Ray fights and all that stuff.
I used to love boxing.
But it's no longer a viable business. Networks don't want to touch it. Floyd is the last man standing. Like UFC's it. Now, it doesn't have its history, but pay-per-view numbers are McGregor's leverage. And McGregor's an international name. Floyd's a domestic name.
Let me tell you why you're wrong. If UFC were king, if Conor were king, they'd be talking about getting in an octagon and having a mixed martial arts fight. They're talking about boxing. That right there tells you what's driving it, boxing.
Well, I don't think just because they're talking about boxing, that's the reason to drive it. I think that's the only thing that Floyd has a chance to win. If they have it any other match, he's going to get crushed. Like, let's be real. Like, you better have it boxing.
Well, like, what would Conor McGregor? You think he's got a shot in the boxing ring with Floyd Mayweather?
Well, that's the only reason why, because it could be even somewhat of a match if it's boxing. It couldn't be anything else. Like, he wouldn't want to fight him in UFC. He don't want to go in a cage, right?
Yeah, that's not happening. But I think Chris is definitely onto something. Even if McGregor loses, that's irrelevant. They should get a split, like he said on your show, $25 million each. McGregor is the big draw among young people. They don't want to watch Pacquiao dance around the ring for 10 rounds. That fight, Pacquiao-Mayweather, was awful. Floyd Mayweather is a boring boxer. He hasn't had a knockout since 2011.
There is something to be said about an it quality. Lennox Lewis was a great fighter. Not a lot of it there. Tyson had the it. Sugar Ray had the it. Thomas Hitman Hearns. Just forget boxing. If this was just a show, Conor now is the better show.
Yeah, Mayweather to Vegas. That's where they put on shows. Like, I totally agree with you. Because I don't want to see Floyd. I respect his boxing style. He is a superstar. He's a megastar. He's made billions of dollars, as you mentioned. But what am I going to pay my money to see? Like, I don't want to see him run around. I respect how he's done it, but I don't like it. I used to be a huge fan of boxing. I've gone to all the big boxing matches. They couldn't pay me to go to a boxing match.
I know.
I go to UFC, though.
Chris, couldn't you argue that McGregor is the new Mayweather? Brash, provocative, talks a big game.
Much more
very
aggressive.
Exciting in the ring. I mean, in the octagon, it's over quickly.
Well, listen, you can't take anything away from Floyd's career. He's undefeated in the boxing, and that deserves a certain amount of respect. But when we're talking about this fight, we're talking about what do people want to see. I wanted Floyd to fight a bunch of fighters before. He wouldn't fight them. So now Conor McGregor, this is the only way he's going to fight anyone.
Look. I'm sorry to sound this old school and this antiquated, but again, we're talking about boxing, its long, illustrious history. I respect the UFC. I've been to UFC fights. I enjoyed the hell out of McGregor and Diaz, and probably would pay to see that more than any boxing match if they did a third one. However, I am aware of what UFC is. Again, and I respect Dana White for understanding there was an underserved market for white men fighting. And so the UFC was created. He's cornered that market. The white guy had been driven out of boxing. But at the end of the day, boxing is the sport of kings.
Whitlock,
it's
got
the
a question.
sport of legends.
I got a
History
question.
is platinum.
What was the last good boxing match you were at? Like that was. Woo, that's too long. Woo, that's too long.
That's been a long time.
Okay, no problem. That don't pay the bills now. You can't watch some old reel-to-reel VHS, old Muhammad Ali fights. Man, back in the day, you sound like the people at the barbershop. Like what's happening right now is UFC. Like it or not like it.
Show me somebody in UFC that Conor McGregor could make anywhere near the money he could make fighting Floyd Mayweather.
Who is Floyd going to make money fighting?
Floyd made money with Pacquiao.
Listen, all
he made money.
Boxing and UFC have one thing in common. The real money's in pay-per-view. That's where the real money's. Oh, even in the Ali time. Pay-per-view is where it's at. Okay. Boxing, Mayweather's the last guy. Yeah. Rousey moves pay-per-view. The women's division.
And you just brought up why Floyd Mayweather sitting there, man, get the hell out of here. Rousey was exposed, and here comes Conor McGregor.
Still move the numbers.
And that's fine. But Floyd Mayweather said, I'm 49-0 in a sport with a tremendous tradition. I'm one of the all-time greats. We don't know what these guys are because the UFC is still in its infancy stage. And trust me, I'll spend every dime I have to see Conor McGregor fight, but I don't know what he is. And so I'm not, if I'm Floyd, I'm not coming off my throne and giving somebody that I really don't know who he is. He could be the next Rousey for all we know, Conor McGregor. I'm not coming off my throne and giving him half my money.
But you remember, this is a guy, Floyd Mayweather, that flies his bags private.
Excuse me?
No, he does.
No, I couldn't hear it.
He will travel and fly in a plane. He'll fly his bags separately private. He needs the money.
He's got nothing
it's all
to do.
I'm not saying he's Antoine Walker, but in the next 10 years, he's looking at thinking, that $80 million I need.
Yeah, and if Dana wants to step up and pay $80 to $100 million, Floyd will come off his throne and get in a fight and make a clown out of this guy in a boxing ring.
But Jason, what else does Floyd do now? If he's not going to fight anybody in boxing, right? He's just done. He just ends his career.
He's 39, 40 years old. He's promoting other fighters. Oscar De La Hoya's got his promotional deal, promoting other fighters. But again, if I'm Floyd, and again, pride. Sometimes pride can stand in the way of doing the right thing, and pride can get you from getting your money. But if I had accomplished all that Floyd has,
he shouldn't be looking.
I'm not coming off my throne.
$25 million you're not getting in the ring just because of pride.
I'm not splitting it with a guy who's not on my level. Conor McGregor's not. I don't care how many pay-per-views he leads.
Well, on the pay-per-view level, he has surpassed
And Ronda
Floyd.
Rousey sold a bunch of pay-per-views too.
Well,
you know what? She got exposed.
Well, that's the business
model. It was still entertaining, and I was right there. Now, you had time to think. When was the last great boxing match you've been at?
It's been a while, man,
okay,
and I've been to some fights.
No problem. We got
one where I'm sitting there going like, wow, I thought this was great. It's been a while. You're 100% right.
She walked right through her defense and bust her face. Just what she should do, and that's what we're paying to see.
Yeah.
Action.
UFC is action.